The first 20 minutes of a Read 180 session is whole group direct instruction. This is where you'll lay out the day's reading objectives, model reading skills, and engage in shared reading with the class.
Please turn to page 164 in your R books.
We provide you with high-interest readings in the student R book.
For teachers, the R book is a wonderful teaching tool because it helps facilitate what goes on in whole group and in small group and really helps them make that time as valuable as possible.
The R book and the Teacher's Edition help not just the new teachers, but the seasoned teachers also. It is a guidebook. It's like their little map to becoming better teachers.
We've also provided a DVD of anchor videos to accompany the R book. You can show a video when you get started with a new reading selection to provide background, giving students some shared content as they begin to discuss the readings.
With anchored instruction, what we do is use a video about the topic you're going to read. And by viewing that video first, now I know you know something about that topic, and you even actually have a mental model of what that's going to be about.
Welcome to Workshop 1, The New Americans. In our first reading, we'll meet Freddie Adu, who came from Ghana for an education and is a top pro soccer player. We'll also meet Irene Rodriguez from Mexico. She came when she was 9 and found it hard to fit in as a new immigrant.
You're going to use this sentence to explain your feelings. The video made me feel blank because blank.
This video made me feel grateful for what I have because some immigrants don't have a good education, and I'm lucky because I do.
The readings in the R book are organized around 3-week workshops, each with a central concept or idea, such as taming wild beasts, or new Americans, or crime, punishment, and teens.
Every student has their own R book. It's for reading, it's for writing, it's for reacting. It's based around a series of articles and workshops where students engage in really motivating topics. And why it's so important is we need these kids to be working on grade level text.
As you start each workshop, you'll introduce high utility vocabulary that students will encounter throughout the readings and in their other subjects, using a research-based vocabulary teaching routine.
The next word we're going to rate is policy. Can everybody say policy?
Policy.
Policy is a noun, which is a person, place, or thing. Go ahead and rate the word a 1, 2, or 3.
If a child doesn't have the necessary vocabulary to function in an academic setting, that child is not going to be able to read successfully, and it's not going to be able to write successfully.
Tiffany, would you like to use that word in a sentence?
The policy in the school is not to chew gum.
Very good. A policy in the school is not to chew gum. Excellent.
The more I teach, I realize that vocabulary is probably the glue that really gets kids to learn.
Pre-teaching vocabulary allows students to build their background knowledge and their understanding of a topic, and it really provides an entree into being an active discussant and participant.
The vocabulary chart helps make teaching easier. The students are able to see the word clearly, the pronunciation of the words, as well as the definitions and the meanings of those words. It's organized in a chart so that they can always use it to refer back to, and it also allows them to utilize the words, especially those words that they're not familiar with.
Your R book Teacher's Edition tells you how to do it and why it works.
I want you to follow the pace as I read along in your R book. I want you to not go ahead of me. I want you to stay where I am in the R book. And when I pause, I want you to say the word chorally all together. Imagine moving to a new country. You don't know your way
Around.
Would you get bored living in a
Cage.
All right. Animals at the zoo do.
Our government sent millions of forms to
Homes.
These teachers just demonstrated oral close, a proven technique to help students stay on task during shared reading.
Oral close allows students to be a part of the group and be able to participate without having the fear of being called on specifically, and especially for the second language learners who may have difficulty in saying a particular word.
There are over 10 routines to help you meaningfully structure students' engagement.
A lot of these students have been in classes where they've been unable to participate and unable to answer questions and respond and really interact as a member of the class because they don't have the academic foundation to read the material that's presented to them and then form opinions about it and make decisions.
Structured engagement activities provide a scaffold for students to know how to answer a question as it's proposed and then also utilize it, think about it, speak about it, and then also write about it.
The Teacher's Edition also supports your professional development with more than 100 red pages. These pages are to help and support you as you are learning about the program, the R book, and routines. These include research, routines, best practices, and recommendations for how to meet the needs of different kinds of learners in your class. The red pages can help you make the most of whole group instruction.
You're going to do a think, pair, share routine. You're going to pair up with a partner, and you're going to share and listen to each other's response. You have 1 minute to think and respond, and then 1 minute to share with your partners.
I think that Freddie Abdul had an easier time in the U.S. because he was a pro soccer player and he went to school.
Ayana, I disagree with you. I think that Irene had an easier time adjusting to the U.S. because she had a friend that helped her learn English.
Well, I think that Freddie Abdul had friends too.
Think, Pair, Share is another structured engagement in the sense that students are given an opportunity for me to think aloud for them. They now have the opportunity to think for themselves, write that down, and then also share with a partner, being responsible to listen and have a role, have a responsibility, and then to speak back to their partner.
When whole group instruction is over, it's time for students to break into small groups and move to their rotations.